He suffered from a type of mental illness and would spy on strangers using his camera. He had a compulsion to secretly observe people's private lives. Because of this behavior, the police chief had beaten him when he was young. Since that day, Max had run away from home. Even now, he hadn't recovered from his condition and had become a serious offender. When his camera was checked, it contained secret videos of Tiny and other girls. Seeing this, the police chief again beat his son as Max's behavior brought shame and humiliation upon him. However, Max claimed that Lynn was the one who kidnapped Lisa. A video was shown that supported this claim. Tiny interrogated Max, asking him why he didn't help Lisa. Max replied that he only wanted to protect Tiny. Tiny sensed a mysterious tone in Max's words, which would later be revealed. Meanwhile, the police discovered another disturbing truth. In Max's recorded videos, it was seen that Tiny used to regularly abuse her daughter. The police filed a child abuse case against her. Tiny defended herself, saying she only did it to teach her daughter about real life. She explained that Lisa often got too close to strangers, especially boys, which she couldn't tolerate. At this point, a man arrived at the police station, who was an official from a charity foundation. Tiny noticed a key in his hand that was identical to the one she had seen in Lynn's keychain. She learned from the official that it was actually a key to the game room of the charity foundation, and there were many copies of it. Since Mr. Lynn also worked with the charity foundation, he too had a copy. Tiny suspected that Lynn might be keeping Lisa locked in that game room. Without delay, she stole a police car and set off towards the charity foundation.
Meanwhile, Lynn was driving somewhere with the landlord. On the way, he saw police officers standing on the road, so he turned the car in a different direction. During this time, Tiny called the woman, the landlord, and told her that Lynn was a murderer and the police were looking for him. The poor woman, unable to hear clearly, put the call on speaker, and Lynn heard the whole thing. The woman told Lynn that she trusted him and she didn't believe he could do something like that. A ghostly tension began to fill the car. To lighten the mood inside the vehicle, the woman turned on the radio, only to hear the same news report, which terrified her even more. She tried to distract Lynn with conversation, but it had the opposite effect. At one point, she noticed a hammer inside the car. She had unknowingly brought danger upon herself. Meanwhile, the police arrived at Tiny's house to search. There, they found her husband's phone and uncovered new evidence, which pointed to another mystery. The police now started searching for Tiny as well. One mystery seemed to follow another, as if there was no end. Back at the charity house, Tiny noticed a dog sniffing around something. Curious, she approached the spot and found the plastic bag. Nervously, she moved the bag aside and discovered the horrifying corpses of 3 girls, the same girls who used to bully others at school. This confirmed that a serial killer had buried the bodies there. However, among them, Tong's body was not found. Tiny couldn't confirm whether Tong was dead or alive. At that moment, Lynn arrived with a car. He had tied the woman in the passenger seat and taped her mouth shut. As Lynn opened the building door, the scene shifted to a memory from his past, introducing us to a time when Lynn lived a happy life with his daughter. His daughter was a child with special needs, and he cared for her deeply. She had a dream that on her birthday, her father would take her to an island by boat. Her birthday eventually arrived. At school, Lisa and Tong were spending time together on the rooftop. Lisa was Tong's best friend. Tong was holding her favorite pet pigeon, which was injured. Lisa went downstairs to get a surprise gift for Tong, not knowing that this was to be Tong's last birthday. After Lisa left, the girls who used to bully others arrived on the rooftop. As part of a cruel birthday celebration, they made Tong their victim. They created a crown from rose stems with thorns and forcefully placed it on her head, causing her scalp to bleed. Ming and the others found this highly amusing and were recording it all on camera. During the ragging, they cut Tong's hair and forced her to drink it with water from a bottle. They even slashed her forehead with a knife. Tong was in intense pain and struggling to breathe. She cried out for help, but no one came. They didn't spare Tong's injured pigeon either. They began tormenting the bird. As Tong cried, the girls forced her to stand barefoot on glass shards. Tong was terrified, but the girls showed no intention of stopping. At that moment, Lisa came back to the rooftop. Seeing what was happening, Tong begged Lisa for help. Lisa became furious and pulled out a pair of scissors. But just then, Lisa's mother arrived and stopped her, taking her away from the scene. The girls threatened Tong if she didn't stand on the glass, they would kill her pigeon. Losing hope even from her best friend, Tong, a gentle and innocent girl, agreed to stand on the glass to save her pet. Meanwhile, Lisa pleaded with her mother to save Tong, but it was already too late. As Tong stood on the glass, it couldn't bear her weight and shattered, causing her to fall down and die instantly. The terrified girls ran away from the scene, accidentally leaving behind the phone they had used to record the entire ragging. Lin had initially believed that his daughter died in an accident, but later, an unknown person sent him the video of the ragging. After watching it, he was shattered. His sorrow turned into burning rage. From an ideal father, he transformed into a serial killer, murdering those involved one by one, seeking revenge for his daughter's death.
It all started with an incident from the past. During one of Teacher Feng's classes, Mink pushed Tong from above. The incident happened right in front of Teacher Feng, but Feng chose to cover it up. His only intention was to protect the reputation of the school and save the headmaster's daughter from trouble. When Lin rushed to the school after hearing about his daughter's accident, little Tong was still fighting for her life. But if Feng had immediately taken Tong to the hospital after the incident, she might have survived. With just a little help from Feng, a father's promise to his daughter could have been saved. The innocent dream of a young girl to go boating with her father would have come true. Lin's promise, his commitment, and Tong's dream of riding on a boat were all shattered in an instant, as his daughter took her last breath in his arms. Now, burdened by sorrow and despair, Lin has detained the now retired Feng, so that he can hold him accountable for his negligence. But then, Tiny arrives and a fight breaks out between her and Lin. Tiny demands to know what Lin has done to her daughter Lisa. Lin tells her that he has laid Lisa down on a bed of flowers. At one point, Tiny stabs Lin in the stomach with a wooden shard. But in retaliation, Lin also injures Tiny and escapes the scene with Feng. However, Tiny is not one to give up. She gets into a car and starts chasing Lin. During the chase, there's an accident and Lin's car crashes as well. Later, Tiny once again interrogates Lin about Lisa's whereabouts. Lin says he has sent Lisa far away, far enough to be free from all her stress and torment. At the same time, the mystery of Tiny's lemon garden is revealed. Let's go back to the past. When Tiny returned home from the club, she saw something in the bathroom that startled her. Later, her husband was shown. This was her second husband named John. In John's absence, Tiny had gone out wearing strange outfits. So, John brutally beat her. When Tiny tried to defend herself, John made her condition even worse. After that, John tried to throw her out of the house. But Tiny had seen something in the bathroom, so she didn't want to leave. As she held the door tightly, John slammed the door on her hand and broke it. After this abuse, Tiny decided to take revenge. On the other hand, in the present, Lynn is being interrogated by the police. He gets lost in a vision, imagining that if Lisa had wanted, she could have saved Lynn's daughter from the ragging. But Lisa didn't, so Lynn held her captive. He only mentioned the lemon garden to the police. From this, the police suspected that Lisa might be buried somewhere under the lemon garden. Meanwhile, one of the police officers, while examining a drawing made by Lisa, realizes that everything Tiny said about her husband was a lie. John's clothes are still unused. Even his shoes don't have any dirt on them. Though Tiny used to buy clothes for John, he never wore them. She used to pretend to talk to him on the phone, even though no one was on the line. According to Lisa's drawing, a particular type of flower was also seen.
It looked exactly like the light in John's room. Once again, Tiny drifted into her imagination where she herself had killed her husband and buried his body in the lemon garden. The lemons from that garden she had fed to others, telling everyone that her husband had helped those lemons grow. Lisa's whereabouts was still unknown. However, Lynn confessed that he was the one who had killed Tiny's husband. But before he could explain the proper reason, journalists and local people arrived demanding justice for the murdered schoolgirls. But Lynn did not want to die at their hands. To escape them, he jumped off the roof of the building and committed suicide. For the police, however, this opened up a new mystery. If Tiny's husband had really been killed long ago, why hadn't she ever filed a missing complaint? One day, while Tiny was lying in the hospital, the police discovered new footage from Max's camera. Footage that completely changed the course of events. The real mystery began here. Let us go back to the past once more. Tiny had once seen her daughter Lisa bleeding in the bathroom, in an unexpected, horrifying state. Lisa was trying to escape this torment. John, Tiny's second husband, had returned home early that day, leading to this terrible incident. Tiny begged John to spare her daughter, but instead, John threw her out of the room and once again tried to commit his inhuman cruelty upon Lisa. Tiny had brought an axe to save her daughter, but before she could act, Lisa, unwilling to endure that suffering for a second time, took the axe and slit John's throat herself. Thus, ended the life of a man who had lost all traces of humanity. All of this was recorded by Max on his camera, which was now in police custody. Tiny pleaded with the police not to reveal her daughter's actions to the outside world, as it would destroy her future. She was even ready to take the blame and punishment for her husband's murder. This was also the reason Tiny disliked Lisa mingling too much with others. She feared another man might treat Lisa as brutally as her stepfather. Hearing all this, Chief of Police Chip grew emotional. In his rage, he smashed the camera. Since Tom's father had already confessed before his suicide that he had killed John, the police closed the case, naming him the murderer. However, Tiny still had to face punishment for child abuse. The scene shifted then, showing Lisa inside a box with Tong's beloved pigeon beside her. Lynn had not killed Lisa. In fact, he had helped her escape from the city. To protect Lisa, Lynn had even falsely confessed to John's murder. Because the recording of the ragging was not leaked by anyone else, it was Lisa who had handed it over to Lynn. Lisa had been devastated by losing her best friend. She had vowed to take revenge for her friend's murder. When Tong's father broke down in tears after watching the ragging video, Lisa felt a chilling satisfaction inside. The long-suppressed fury of revenge had awakened. She and Lynn together hunted down Tong's killers and punished them mercilessly. But Max began to suspect Lisa. If Max informed the police, both Lisa and Lynn would be jailed for murder. Lynn could not let this happen. Lisa was like his own daughter to him. He had failed to give his own child a happy life, but he wanted Lisa to have that chance. So, he staged Lisa's fake kidnapping. Lisa, however, was finally free from all her burdens. She had lost the one friend who had taught her to open her wings and fly freely. But she had taken revenge. Even their beloved pigeon seemed to celebrate, soaring joyfully in the free sky. Tong's father had avenged his daughter's death, then went to join her, to the world where only father and daughter remained. And her dream of rowing to the distant island would now finally be fulfilled. The scene shifted again. 3 years later, Lisa was shown inside a prison cell singing the song Tong used to sing. This reveals something shocking. Lisa was never truly mute. Then why had she always pretended to be mute? The film ended here, yet left us caught in a new web of mystery. Dear friends, how did you like this explanation? Tell me in the comments below. For more such explanations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.